installations is the question. But Enforcer, do you think they're going to hit those installations?
I have a feeling if they were going to hit anything, it most likely will be the nuclear installations, because in the past, Israel actually has conducted a special raid into Iran with the Air Force to strike and destroy a nuclear weapons development facility they had several decades ago. So I have a feeling that probably would be one of their primary targets as a historical precedent.
All right.
So,
And
all
with that
right.
being said,
There I am.
and with that being said, we are now moving into our next super chat question. That's all the breaking news we have for the moment. So our next one here is going to go to Susan L. UK, another longtime channel legend, who puts in a $20 donation and says, "Excellent reporting, chaps."
Hey, thank you so much for sending in some support and enjoying the reporting. I try my best. I tried my best. I promise to make this as good as a stream we could at such a short notice with so little prep time, and I feel like we really did make it turn out well. And I got to thank you so much for appreciating the work and the effort that went in behind the scenes. And I got to thank, of course, the incredible and amazing Lee Spring Army for being so supportive of us as we were trying to cover this news on such a short notice. And also, just really sit back and enjoy the news. I got to thank all of y'all for that. And thank you so much once again for the support and helping this channel to keep on running. And with that, we are on to the next one.
And our next one goes to Melinda Grifford Vaughn, another longtime channel legend, who puts in a $20 donation and says, "Awesome job, and thanks for keeping us updated. And is Russia trying to pull anything while everyone is looking the other direction?" And I do have some news about that, by the way. We actually covered this earlier today, but we unlisted the video because we did have a little bit of an error in reporting, which we were not happy with, so we took it down. But we did hear that Russia is actually redirecting its ships. They're actually bringing their ships to a Syrian port, which they typically do not do. And they're bringing stuff, I can't remember where it was from. I don't have the Twitter post in front of me, but they were shuttling equipment from one part of the Middle East to the other on their naval vessels, which obviously indicates that Russia is bringing supplies and military equipment to someone in the Middle East. And considering that Iran is the one who is really acting up right now, along with their proxies, I think we know what Russia's up to with that. But Enforcer, what say you?
I would have to say, I actually did not know that information because I've been doing a whole bunch of other things today. Usually I find out everything around, let's see, most of the time, and actually would have been by the time the stream had started, I started gathering the news for the day on what happened in Ukraine. So sadly, I've been completely out of the loop on what the Russians are doing today because my attention's been focused into other things, like, for example, shipping out the last flags that in the international orders for the Lee Spring Army, and also doing a couple of other things. For example, trying to go and sight in a rifle. But with that, I hope that does address that well. Sadly, I wouldn't know much. Matthew actually knows more about that than me today. And with that, thank you so much once again for support, asking an interesting question, Melinda Griffith Vaughn, and thank you for being an old guard and a channel legend. And with that, we are on to the next one.
All right, and also, Enforcer, if you want to take a look at that report here, I'm scrolling down here to grab it so that way I can try to repost it, so that way we can look it over real quick. So let me go and see if I can spot it right real quick. Man, we posted a lot of Twitter posts in between that last one right there, that's for sure. And right off the bat, let's see here. I'm not seeing it right off the bat, sadly. I hate that because I wanted to report on it very badly, but I'll have to go back and see if I can spot it in the meantime. But with that being said, we're moving on to our next super chat, and this one goes to Robert Nicholson, who puts in a $20 donation and says, "Great information as usual, and thank you for your huge effort."
And thank you so much, Robert Nicholson, for the massive support and really enjoying our huge effort and really supporting it so that way we can help it to keep on running. And so thank you so much once again. I hope that does address that incredibly well, at least the best we can. And thank you once again for helping this channel to keep on running. And with that, we are on to the next one.
All right, and also I see some folks saying a U.S. military base might be getting attacked. I haven't seen that, so let me go back and double check that I haven't missed anything.
They might be talking about Erbil or Al-Assad, most likely.
Yeah, I think that might be old news, actually. It looks like that might have already happened, so we'll keep an eye out. But with that being said, we're moving on to our next one here, which goes to Ben Cahill, who puts in a $20 donation. And thank you, Ben, very much. He says, "Coffee money. It seems like you guys will need it."
Hey, thank you for the support and thank you for the coffee money because we always need a little bit of coffee. I actually didn't have any coffee today because it was so early, and on top of that, I had such short notice I couldn't even get a sip of coffee. I just had to get on the show and start running it. But still, thank you so much once again for support, and we will need the coffee, especially if things keep going the way it is right now in the Middle East and in Ukraine. But with that, thank you so much once again. I hope that does address that incredibly well. And with that, we are on to the next one.
All right, and our next one is going to go to Boulder Boy, who's been here for a long time as well. He puts in a
Hey!
$20 donation, and thank you, Boulder Boy, very much. He says, thanks for being on top of the news today in LSA.
And thank you so much, Boulder Boy, for really enjoying and appreciating how on top of the news we are today. It means a lot to us that so many people have. I cannot say it enough. We really do enjoy what we do, and I love my job. I would never get a different job than this in the world. This is really what I feel like is my passion and my real drive to do. Is trying to do things pertaining to world news or things for the matter of the public good. I think that's something that I really love to do. But beyond that, I also have to say that apparently a great many people also really enjoyed the coverage today, much like you, Boulder Boy. Because, Matthew, I don't know if you've been keeping track of this number. I actually have not been keeping track of this number all too well during the stream. But we have now surpassed 190,000 subscribers and are less than 10,000 subscribers away from 200,000 subscribers.
So we went from 186 to 190. Did you say that?
Yes, that is exactly correct. That we are now less than
Damn.
10,000 away from 200,000 subscribers. Nearly 4,000
That's
people.
crazy. I need to see that to believe it, man. That's wild. That's a lot.
Oh, you know what? I'll show it to you. Let me go get this here, and let me go refresh it so that way it'll show the current number. Right there.
Dang, man, look at that like spike on the graph. Like, jeez.
Yeah, it's been crazy. We went from 186,747 all the way up to 190,017. Now it's 16. But
that is crazy. Thank you all for subscribing, by the way. That's tremendous. It means a lot to us. It may not mean much for the YouTube algorithm, but it means a lot to us, and it's going up fast. Good Lord.
Yeah, it's continuing to go up. It's crazy. But I gotta say, we thank every single one of y'all so much once again, everyone who was new, everyone who's been here forever, for enjoying this channel and really appreciating how we cover it, much like you, Boulder Boy, because we were completely blown away. It really does blow me away, especially now that we're getting so close to 200,000 subscribers, which is a big magic number in my mom's head. Like, my mom's always talking about, when you get 200,000, you'll really made it. Like, I'm like, well, we already kind of have, but okay. But it's crazy to think that we're getting that close to 200,000 subscribers. We're getting that close to 250,000. It seems like it's only been a short amount of time, but it's really been over 2 years now that we've been running this channel and covering news around the world for all of y'all. And I cannot say enough, Boulder Boy, how happy and how appreciative we are to be able to have this job and to be able to cover this news for all of y'all. And so with that, thank you so much once again. I hope that does address that well. And with that, we are on to the next one.
All right, and we do have the Enforcer, that piece of news that I covered on the short war video today that got unlisted. It's at the top of our Twitter feed as well if you want to take a look at some rather interesting findings about some Russian vessel movements near the Middle East and potentially supplying weaponry to some forces.
Interesting. So let's see here. After leaving Tartus on the 6th of April, Ivan Gren and A. Travotsky, escorted by the frigate Mercury, delivered artillery equipment to the port of Tobruk in Libya on the 8th of April. This type of logistical delivery is unprecedented. The convoy left Tartus on the 9th of April, and a second trip is being prepared shortly. This actually appears to be an export of equipment from Tartus, Port of Tartus in Syria, to Libya, possibly to be transferred further through Libya and on into the countries of Mali, Niger, or Chad, most likely. Which are countries that Wagner was operating in heavily before Wagner was taken out by the Russian government. So that may be the Russians trying to attempt more power plays within Central Africa and continue to support their own people with more arms and equipment. That may be what that is.
Interesting. I thought it was going from the port of Tobruk to Tartus, but it's the other way around apparently.
Yes, but still, that is very interesting. It is showing that the Russians may be trying to be a destabilizing power within the region to try and counter Western interests. But with that, I hope that does address that incredibly well. And thank you so much for sharing that with us, man, because I actually didn't look at that much today. But with that, we are on to the next one.
Although I went back and checked real quick, it looks like the fellow that made the post believes it was actually the other way around. So it could be either way. It looked like the post you were reading, the one he quoted, he believed it was going the way you stated it, but the guy who retweeted it believed it was going the other way, which is the way I thought it was going. So, yeah, take that for what you will, because at this point, I think between the two, there's a little bit of a discrepancy there. But anyways, moving on here to our next super chat question, we have one from, let's see, Murray Peacock, who puts in a $100
Dang.
donation without a comment. But Murray, you have been a longtime channel viewer, and thank you very much for that support once again, and we appreciate it very much. And Enforcer, what say you?
And I gotta say, thank you so much, Murray Peacock, for the unbelievable support. That is incredible. I can't even believe that you supported the channel like that. But nevertheless, you did. And I gotta thank you so much once again, because tonight the support has been unbelievable. The amount of people who have joined the channel is unbelievable. The amount of people who watch this stream is unbelievable. We're still at 10,000 live viewers. The stream has been going on for 3 hours and 22 minutes now, and we're still at 10,000 live viewers. That is usually 3,000 above the peak of what we normally get for viewership. Truly incredible. Unbelievable. And we thank you all for still being here with us. And not only that, I also thank the 310,000 people who have watched this stream for watching it so far. That is really impressive as well. And we are more than happy to be able to run this for all of y'all once again. But Murray, thank you so much for your massive support. You didn't even throw in a comment, but we know what the support means. It means you really enjoy this channel, really appreciate it, and want to help it to keep on running. And so with that, thank you so much once again. I hope that does address that fairly well. And with that, we are on to the next one.
And also, by the way, we already see Iran starting their propaganda, little splurge here. They're on their national TV right now, on Iranian state TV, allegedly showing the aftermath of the Iranian attack on Israel. But it was just busted by some amateur journalists here that it's actually just footage from Texas wildfires here in the United States that they're showing on their national TV, pretending like it's happening in Israel. So once again, another piece of lovely propaganda from the liars that are the Iranian mullahs and the Ayatollah. And Enforcer, if you want to take a look at the actual video showing you the Texas wildfire footage plus the other one, you can see the lie in action. It's at the top of the Twitter page.
Oh, I saw it earlier, and I was like, ha! And then I just didn't bring it up on air. But let me make sure to bring this up for y'all. So this is from B&O News Live. You can actually see the Iranians up here in the top showing showing the aftermath of their successful barrages and attacks. And then meanwhile, down here, you can see this this Twitter post that was made on the 1st of March of this year showing a Texas wildfire, which is the exact same video, just zoomed in.
That's some extreme desperation right there. It's literally rip off some footage from YouTube of Texas wildfires and show it. That's insanity.
Dude, pitiful. They're like, look who you hit them. It's like, no, you didn't. It's like, you even know it. You even know where you got the video from. You're lying. But with that, I hope that does address that fairly well, because that's hilarious. And with that, we are on to the next one.
And our next one goes to Tristan Sartain, who puts in a $20 donation. He says, has war actually been declared? And I'm just hopping on.
Technically, war has not been declared, because the Iranians have not given an official declaration of war. But in the modern world, official declarations of war are just simply never given anymore. They really have never even been given since the end of World War II by anyone anywhere in the world. So how wars start now is that you bombard the hell out of someone, and then that's when you know the war started. The Russians have never officially declared war on Ukraine, I believe, if I'm correct, even still. They call it the special military operation, but to the rest of the world, it's the Russo-Ukrainian war, because that's what it actually is. So to answer that, no, there is no official declaration of war, but with the Iranian actions today, that is an act of war. It is a war now that the Iranians have started. Because the Japanese, you have to remember that World War II started for the United States on December 7th of 1941 when the Empire of Japan attacked the U.S. naval forces based out of Honolulu, Hawaii. Technically, Japan had not declared war on us, but them bombing our warships technically started the war right then and there, whether they had officially declared war on us or not. So with that, I hope that does address that fairly well. And thank you so much once again for support and helping this channel to keep on running. And with that, we are on to the next one.
All right, and our next one is actually going to go to Larolian, who puts in a $20 donation. And thank you very much for that support. They said, appeasement policies create world wars.
And yes, they do. I'm a very big believer in that. I believe that appeasement is one of the worst strategies to implement because you give them time to even build up. They already hate you. So why in the world are you going to appease them and allow them to grow stronger? You should deal with them now. That's what I would believe. But with that, I got to thank you so much once again for the support and helping this channel to keep on running, Leor Avagile. And thank you once again for throwing in a very good, wise words. Appeasement is only a path to war. And so, with that, thank you so much once again. We are on to the next one.
All right, and our next one goes to another channel legend. This time it's Walter A. Lakota Jr., who throws in a
Hey!
$100 donation. And huge shout out to you, Walter, for that support and always supporting the channel through and through. He says, Aloha, the Enforcer, Enforcer Matt, and LSA from OG Ellison Bosun, and a nautical fact.
Oh, sorry. I was trying to do the OGLs and
nautical,
Bosun thing.
he said, nautical fact. theving, I think, means to measure the airspace in a tank. And new LSA privates sit down and listen to how us OG old guard talk and speak to the enforcer and enforcer Matt. And take one from the chat.
Dang, Walter
I said it kind
Lakota
of
laid
violently.
it down. He's like, sit down.
I don't think Walter meant it like that, but the way I said it kind of came out violent, like an order or something like that. So I don't think you meant it like that. But thank you, Walter, for the support.
Man, sit your ass down. That's what he makes it like. Still, hello to Walter E. Lakota, the OG Ellison bosun, and also really cool to hear that Theven means to measure the airspace of the tank. I didn't know that there were so many different naval terms out there. But Walter A. Lakota, you are our naval